first to like go in detail because you know the IRS, Congress, all them, they always doing stuff and changing stuff, and sometimes you just don't want to talk about certain things because you're gonna have to go back and retrack it. But because a lot of you all are going out and getting estimates already, and people are trying to get you in their doors. Let me cut my phones off because they might start ringing. Um, a lot of people might, a lot of y'all going out getting estimates now, and you're not liking your estimates. We haven't opened yet, so I ain't did nobody estimate yet. But and you might not like your estimate. A lot of you not understanding what's going on this year. As tax preparers, we are, you know, being proactive by making sure that we're putting it on our pages, kind of trying to pre-warn people that refunds are going to look a little different this year. A lot of people trying to figure out, well, how different? Nobody's really telling you. So I just felt like, okay, let me go ahead and just break it down to y'all in detail, because I know y'all was waiting for me to do it as far as what these refunds are going to possibly look like this year. Now, the disclaimer is this: everybody refund is not going to be lower. Like some people, refunds didn't change last year. Like they didn't get no big refunds last year. They pretty much got what they usually get. Good morning, Tiffany. So it might not be a change for everybody, but it is going to be a change for, I'm looking at my hair. Okay, it's going to be a change for a lot of people. What is that noise? Okay. It's going to be a change for a lot of people. Okay, because the last 2 years, the tax refunds have been on steroids. People forgot what tax refunds used to look like before COVID. We are now, as people, we expect to, if we see something one way, we expect for it to always be that way. And if it's not, we want to have hope that somebody can get it to that way. And that's just not what it is. So let me tell y'all a couple of things. A lot of y'all like to tax company hop. Like if somebody give you a low number, you gonna say, let me go get another estimate somewhere else. And then you'll be went to 2, 3, 4, 5 people, tax companies, and gave them your information. And now your information is all over the place. Be real careful about that for a couple of reasons. One reason is because identity theft, like somebody gonna steal your identity, because a lot of tax people are crooks. When you be thinking about how so and so doing taxes, yeah, you need to do a side eye, like how so and so doing taxes. Like you're not wrong. So like a lot of people are crooks that do taxes, so they will steal your identity to get money, especially if y'all refunds are not big enough for them to steal money from y'all or charge y'all some outrageous fees. So they will steal your identity and file false tax returns. And then two, even if they don't file a false tax return, what they will do is act like they didn't know you didn't want them to send it. As soon as the IRS open, they're going to send as many returns out to lock them in so that they can get paid, and they're not going to care nothing about whether or not what you get back. So be real careful who you get your information to. Be real careful, you know, people promising you big refunds and they ain't looked at no paperwork, or they can't explain to you how you got that refund. Y'all better start asking some questions. Some of y'all don't like to ask questions because you don't want to know. You just want to make sure you get that refund. But y'all better start asking questions, because the IRS ain't really playing with nobody these days. It can look like you're gonna get a big refund, and then your refund be held up for 2 years, and you can't get your money, and now you're stressing. But that's not what I said I was going to talk about. I said I was going to talk about why refunds are going to be lower. So let me give y'all the backstory. And I'll say this all for the next couple of weeks. So refunds are going to be lower because a lot of the tax credits that were given because of the pandemic, they are no longer there. And I started like 2 weeks ago telling you the different ones that's not there, trying to go in detail of their changes, but they're no longer there. And because they're no longer there, that means that your refunds can't be as big. So the credits that are no longer there, it's the look back credit that help people get bigger refunds, especially self-employed people, because you was using your earned income from 2019 instead of using your income from 2020 and 2021. It was helping you get income, now bigger refunds. It was helping people who did not file taxes in 2 years file taxes. It was helping people that was on unemployment get refunds even though they didn't work. So that's gonna be one thing. Like, people who thought they could start filing taxes gonna think they can file taxes still, and you're not gonna be able to file taxes because you was only able to file taxes in 2020 and 2021 because you actually filed taxes in 2019. And it's a lot of people that's gonna be affected by that. For my self-employed people, the sick leave and medical leave, that's no longer there. That was Form 7202. That was a good increase for self-employed people, and that was not just for like low income self-employed people. That was for people who might have made 40, 50,000 in self-employment net, and they usually don't get a refund, but they was actually getting refunds the last 2 years. It might wasn't a big refund, but they wasn't owing, or they didn't owe that much, and that was because they was able to use that 7202. So if you used to not get refunds and you was getting refunds in the last couple of years, you're going back to not getting refunds and owing. If you owe and you wasn't owing as much as you was owing the last 2 years, you're gonna go back to owing those big numbers because that particular tax credit is gone. The child care credit is going back to its original state. That was a credit that was on steroids last year. In previous years, I'll go into detail in the next couple of weeks just about child care, but just a quick thing about it. Like, before the child care credit, independent care credit, because it's always been dependent care. People that are older, you always been able to write off if you're paying for their care and they're on your tax. You've always been able to write off for them. But the thing is it was a non-refundable credit. They only made it refundable for 2021. What a refundable credit means is that you get that money dollar for dollar. A non-refundable credit means that credit only reduces your tax liability if you have taxes still due when that credit is applied. So that's why a lot of people in the past wasn't able to take the child care credit because it was non-refundable. A lot of times people, once you do their standard deduction, we used to have personal exemptions, they'll zero out on their tax liability, so they wouldn't necessarily need that credit. It's going back to that credit. The max amount as far as you can write off of that credit was $3,000 for one child, $6,000 for 2 kids or more, and then the amount that you got back was $1,050 that will reduce your tax liability, and that $2,100 for like if you had 2 kids in that age range and you was claiming that credit. So it's going back to that. Last year it was what. The credit, you can write off up to $8,000 for one child, $16,000 for 2 or more, and then you can end up walking home with $4,000 and $8,000 on top of what you already was getting. A lot of people got that credit, right? A lot of people got that credit. So that's the reason why refunds are going to be lower this upcoming season. Then you have the child tax credit. Y'all forgot all about the earned income tax credit last year. You ain't hear nothing about the earned income tax credit last year. Nobody was talking about the earned income tax credit. And watch me. And believe me that now everybody gonna be talking about EIC. Last year y'all forgot that EIC even existed because everybody was talking about the child tax credit. Everybody was talking about child tax credit, and people are now asking about the child tax credit, how they could benefit from it this year. Well, it ain't no benefit from it like it was last year because it's different. Okay, that credit was refundable as well.